Welcome back. It's art time, class. Today, we're going to start our last activity for the fall semester. Let's get started. So this activity, the hand, or la mano, is supposed to take a few hours to do. I want you to first focus on getting this done on our paper. This is like the outline of our activity. And then next week, the next time you get to sit down for art, we're going to add color to it. So if you have just a small half sheet of paper like this journal, you might want to put your hand across your paper like this. You could put your part of your hand on the paper, or you could put your hand across like this. Okay. As you can see, I'm still working on coloring these. This is my journal I use at school, so I'm still working on it. I've been working on lots of examples for this activity. Here's an example of what a kindergarten's activity might look like. A kindergartner would probably trace, and it would be rather round around the edges, which is okay, totally normal. They'd probably draw a few circles or a square or a heart. I've seen students do like a couple of lines. So if you wanted to do shapes instead, you could. Here's an example of what a big kid, like a 4th or 5th grader, project might look like if they decided to do shapes. Like this person did a square that's tilted to the side, so it looks a little bit more like a rhombus. You could do this project where you just did like black and white. Here's an example that I'm still working on. I'm coloring it in really nicely. First I did with just pencil, and now I'm going back with marker, and I'm going back in and erasing all the extra pencil lines so the hand is more of an optical illusion, because when you use just black and white, it's very optical illusion-y. Here's another example of the activity where I decorated with different types of lines. Here's another example of decorating with different types of line. We're going to have a project in February where we look at different types of line from a certain culture, and we're going to kind of do a little mini study on that. So here's different lines designs here where I did a different background and a different something in the background on this. So if you have this type of paper where it's like a picture on top and drawing on the bottom, I recommend go ahead and use both folds for this big project. You can do both hands if you want. I've seen some students do like the heart shapes with their hands. I've seen students still do like I have a picture that's different in the background, so it's like nighttime versus daytime inside my hand, and then down here is line designs. It's really up to you if you want to use these types of lines. If you have that lined paper and you want to use it in your artwork, definitely go for it. If you want to really challenge yourself, this is probably the hardest version of the project, when instead of using the lines like straight lines, it's more diagonal and it adds more of a curve. So that's kind of the similar way I'm going to be doing mine. I'm going to try to make my paper look a little bit like this. But to get this, I first need to do this. This is day 1. Okay, and I want to point out there's like 1, 2, 3 hard areas right here on this part of your hand. And then the fingers and the wrist or part of your arm is fairly simple. So let's go ahead. Let's move all this to the side. I know I have so many samples and examples of this activity. I've been really excited about it. I'm getting started. So we're going to get this to make that. Let's first start with this. You're going to need pencil, paper, and something with a straight edge. I recommend a ruler if you have a ruler, or a folder. Maybe you've got like a nice crayon box that's got a nice straight edge on it. It's up to you. When you use the ruler, you're going to be tracing it, just like we're going to trace our hand. Let's talk about tracing. So when you're tracing an object, you're going to want to lay it out, and you want to lay your fingers. You want to spread your fingers out, nice and spread. When you're holding your pencil, you're going to hold it at the back end of your pencil. So I'm holding my pencil at the very top. That's that back end of it. And I'm going to go around. I want to go straight. I don't want to be to the side. Nope. I don't want to be over here. Nope. I'm going to go straight up and down. I really want my pencil to be perpendicular to my paper. Okay. Put this ring here. If you want to add ring or jewelry, bracelets, it's up to you. Going around. Am I going fast? No, I'm going nice and slow. I think this is nice and slow for me at least. You might be slower than me. That's totally normal. You're still learning. Of course, you might be slower than mine. All right, so this is looking really nice. I'm going to go ahead and write my name, escribe nombre. And then today's date. I know I'm going to spend more than one day on this activity, so I'm going to put a dash, and I'm going to put the date for next month, because I'm going to finish this next month. I don't know what day I'm going to finish it on, but I'm going to leave that blank, because I know it's going to take me a couple of days to do this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn my paper, and I'm going to do my lines going horizontally across my paper. So I'm going to turn it because a vertical line is easier for me to get perfect. I want it perfect every time. I want it just right. I want it to be the best you can be. Okay? The best you can do on this activity, guys. So I'm going to first start. I got this line here. I got this line over there. Okay? Now, in the middle area, I'm going to do a curve line. I like to put my ruler right here. So when you hold your ruler or your straight edge holder, whatever it is you're using, use your fingers at the top and at the bottom. Kind of hold the thing down at several points, and then that's a curve line between. Let's do another one. I could do it up here. Up here, so there's nothing to be in the way, so it's just fast. There's another one. Okay, let's look at this right here. Y'all see that? Let's zoom in. Let's take a close-up view of this. So as I'm working, I'm going to do a straight line. Straight line. Then right here, it's going to be a little curve. Okay? Straight line. Curve. Straight line. And then that curve. Look at that. Look at those little mistakes. It's okay. They look fine, because look at that zoomed out. It looks just fine. It really does look good. Let's do another one together. Let's do another like close-up zoom in. Okay. So you got that close-up. Here, stop. And I could do all of my straight lines like this. And then I could come back and do my curve after. So I can do all the straight lines and then come back with a curve. Yes, I like that. Now right here is the hard part. I'm going to go ahead and come back down to here and work on these. Now the lines can be close together, far apart. It's really up to you. The more lines you have, the easier it's going to be to see the shape three-dimensionally. You can have them farther apart too if you'd like. So right in here is the hard part. You can see on mine, I have a couple mistakes here. This line, this line here. So if you look at your hand, imagine drawing a line across it. There'd be these bumps. It'd be like a bump, 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 bump. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. But this needs to come up. That is a hard line to draw. The hardest part is right in the middle. especially if you're going for like the curve, that optical illusion. Remember, we did optical illusions in October for a reason, because there's going to be one in our final. If you'd like to do the optical illusion version of it, which looks like this, it is really hard to do it this way. It is. But as long as you get something like this, I mean, you could, instead of doing the lines with bumps, you could just do straight lines. Like these have straight lines. It's a curved line because it's a circle, but it curves around in a shape. It doesn't form the hand. That's the hardest way. That's the way I'm showing is the hardest way. But you can make this easier if you want to make it easier. As long as you get something like this by the end of day 1, that's good. It might take you a couple tries. The last time I did this activity, a couple years ago, I did this, and the students needed a couple tries, especially kindergartners with tracing their hand. That was especially difficult at first. And then, let's see, I'm going to keep this line. I like that curve, that light line that I did. I'm going to use it. Here we go. So I did have some students do this with like Zentangle design details, where they added in all these details, and we had a lot of Zentangle. That's when you have all these little line works. That's what a Zentangle is. The tangle of design. And then I had some students just color it in blankly. And the coloring and the design and details, that's a whole nother day. That's day 2 of this activity. This is what you need to get done on day 1. If you've got this done, you're good to go. That's awesome. If you're running out of time, find a good stopping point. If you've got more time, keep going. That's good. Again, this in the middle part is the hardest. I don't even know what to put here. It's just like a big curve. Let me look at my hand. Yeah, it is like a big curve. Because right here, where my knuckles are, it's where it's bumpy. Right here, it's just a big curve. There's like a curve over the thumb. That's not exact. That's okay. I think that looks good. Over that. And if I want, I can add in more lines. Like I said earlier, when I add more lines, it's going to add a little bit more, like, I'm going to see it. It's going to add a bit more of a direction for our lines. It's going to make it a little clearer when we're coloring it in and adding decorations later. If I wanted to be super duper fancy, I could put in a border. I love it when people add borders to their artwork, and we do have a few students that always add a fancy border to their art. And y'all know who I'm talking about. I want you to be sure you usually put your name on the border. I can't show off the border if your name's on it. Okay, so any pictures that have your name on it, guys, I can't show your name part, but I can crop that part out and show the rest of your artwork. Make it show it off. So here's like an example of a border where they changed it up some. And it's up to you if you want to do a border or not. Well, class, as long as you got to these 2 parts today, as long as you have your hand traced and your lines, you don't have to do horizontal lines like this. You could do vertical, you could do diagonal. I think I have, yeah, here's an example of like a diagonal to the side. It's a little harder. It's more difficult. As you can see, it's like, wait, what am I doing right there? I don't even remember. I recommend this. It's easier, especially if you're starting out new. But if you'd like extra challenge, this is what I recommend. And that really gets into detail on day 2. And I'll see you guys then on that video. Till next time. Guys, I want you to keep being creative, safe, be responsible, and be respectful. Take your time on this. Do your best. Practice. Did you see how many practice examples I had? I had a bunch of practice examples. Here's 1, 2 right there. 3, 4, 5. Let's see, 6, 7. Here's 8, 9, and 10. I have over 10 practice examples. I'm the teacher. If you have more than one practice example, that's okay. You need more paper? Raise your hand. I brought paper. If not, if you have your own paper, dude, use your own art paper. That's awesome. Be sure to take a picture of your progress. Almost forgot, guys. Take a picture. Yeah, you have all these really cool drawings that you're doing and working on. This is like a really big drawing. I want you to go ahead and take a picture of it so you can see your progress. Extra points for people who take a in-progress picture and send it to me as well. So at the end of this activity, you'll have your final picture and your practice picture. You send me both of those, extra points. Haven't I said extra pictures? Extra review too. It's extra points if you want to take time to write about how you feel about it. I think this is going to look cool, or this is hard to start with. I practiced 2 or 3 times. And then you have your extra review on top of that at the end, dude, extra points.